Money is one of the most common yet underestimated causes of conflict in relationships. It has the power to bring couples together or tear them apart. But why? Because money is not just about numbers, it's about values, priorities, and power. Many couples don't realize this until they start living together, paying bills, or making big financial decisions. Then, suddenly, what once seemed like a minor issue becomes a constant source of tension. Let me tell you something, income differences in a relationship can either be a curse or a blessing. It depends on how you handle them. The problem isn't that one partner earns more than the other. The problem is how we perceive financial imbalance. When one person makes significantly more, two things happen. The higher earner may feel like they have more control, leading to financial dominance. The lower earner may feel less valuable, leading to insecurity and resentment. And if not handled with wisdom, this dynamic creates an invisible war, a battle for who gets to decide, who gets to lead, and who gets to spend. But it doesn't have to be that way. Before we move on to explore how to turn financial differences into financial unity, listen to this story. Lisa and Mark had been dating for 3 years when they finally decided to get married. Everything seemed perfect, except for one thing. Lisa earned nearly 3 times more than Mark. At first, it wasn't a big deal. Lisa never saw money as an issue, and Mark was confident in himself regardless of his salary. But as wedding plans began and financial decisions had to be made, the tension started to build. Lisa wanted a destination wedding in Greece. Mark felt a local ceremony would be more reasonable. Lisa suggested they buy a house immediately. Mark preferred to save and wait. Slowly, money became an invisible wall between them, creating resentment and unspoken frustrations. One night, after an argument over vacation plans, Mark finally admitted, "I feel like I don't have a say in this relationship because I earn less." That moment changed everything for them. It wasn't just about money, it was about power, value, and teamwork. This is a reality many couples face. When one partner earns significantly more than the other, it can lead to insecurity, tension, and even control struggles. But the truth is, income differences don't have to divide a relationship. They can actually strengthen it when handled with wisdom and understanding. Let's explore how couples can navigate financial disparities and build a partnership based on trust, not income. The biggest mistake people make in relationships is equating income with importance, believing that the one who earns more is automatically more valuable in the relationship. This is a dangerous mindset. If a man earns more than his wife, he may unconsciously feel like the sole provider, believing that his financial contribution gives him the right to make all the major decisions. Over time, this attitude can create an imbalance where the wife feels unheard, dependent, and even powerless. On the other hand, if a woman earns more, she may feel entitled to control the household finances, subtly making her husband feel less significant or even emasculated. He may begin to withdraw emotionally, feeling as though his role in the marriage has been reduced to just being the other partner rather than an equal. Do you see the danger? Money was never meant to define worth. Listen carefully. Your income does not determine your value. Your ability to earn money is a gift from God. In Deuteronomy 8 verse 18, it says, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." That means your paycheck is not a symbol of superiority or inferiority. It is simply a resource, a tool entrusted to you for stewardship. When couples begin to see money as a shared resource instead of a personal achievement, they move from competition to collaboration. They stop saying, "This is mine," and they start saying, "This is ours." The moment you stop allowing money to dictate who is in control, who is worthy, and who is important, you set your relationship free from unnecessary power struggles. This shift in mindset is the foundation for financial unity. And once you have the right perspective, the next step is to create a system that works for both of you. Now, let's talk about how couples can build a fair and balanced financial contribution plan. One of the biggest lies society has told us is that fair means 50-50. But let me ask you something. If one person earns $10,000 a month and the other earns $2,000, is it truly fair to expect them to contribute equally? Absolutely not. Fairness is not about equal amounts. It's about equitable contribution. The burden of 50-50, a case study. Jessica and Brian were newlyweds. Jessica, a lawyer, made twice as much as Brian, who worked in marketing. But because they wanted everything to be equal, they split all their bills 50-50ths. At first, Brian tried to keep up, but over time, he started feeling drained. He had less money for personal expenses, struggled to save, and even resented Jessica for her financial freedom. This is what happens when couples prioritize equality over wisdom. Brian wasn't just paying bills, he was sacrificing his financial peace just to meet an unrealistic standard. And Jessica? She didn't even realize the pressure he was under until their marriage started feeling strained. Here's the truth: a healthy relationship doesn't measure love by dollars and cents, it measures love by wisdom and understanding. The best way to handle finances is to structure contributions based on income ratio, not a rigid 50-50 split. How to structure a fair financial plan. There are three main approaches couples can use. Proportional contribution method. Each partner contributes based on their earnings. If one makes 70% of the total income, they contribute 70% of expenses. The other contributes their fair share, not an equal amount, but an equitable one. Income pooling method. Both incomes go into a joint account and expenses are paid from it. This method creates unity and eliminates the mine versus yours mentality. However, it requires trust, transparency, and strong communication. Hybrid method. Fixed expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, are split proportionally, while each person keeps a portion of their income for personal use. This ensures both partners contribute fairly while maintaining individual financial autonomy. Why this matters? When finances are structured with wisdom, both partners feel secure, valued, and respected. Brian should never have had to suffer silently under the weight of equality. And Jessica should never have unknowingly contributed to his financial stress. A relationship is not a financial competition, it's a financial partnership. Money should never be a silent destroyer of peace. Instead, it should be a tool that strengthens your bond. But to truly make this work, you need more than just a plan. You need financial trust. Now, let's talk about the power of financial transparency and trust in relationships. If love is the foundation of a relationship, then trust is the structure that holds everything together. And when it comes to finances, trust is not just a feeling, it's a system. You see, many couples don't realize that financial secrecy can be just as dangerous as infidelity. Some call it financial infidelity, when one partner hides debt, spending habits, or even entire bank accounts from the other. Let me tell you something: the moment money becomes a secret, it becomes a weapon. I've seen marriages break, not because of a lack of love, but because one person felt betrayed when they discovered hidden loans, secret credit cards, or undisclosed financial struggles. Let me share a real-life example. Sarah and Daniel had been married for 5 years. They had a beautiful home, a joint account, and what seemed to be a strong financial system. But what Sarah didn't know was that Daniel had over $40,000 in credit card debt he had never told her about. He kept making minimum payments, shifting balances between cards, and hoping she would never find out. Until one day, a loan collector called their house. Sarah felt betrayed. Not because of the debt itself, but because trust had been broken. Understand this: money isn't just about numbers, it's about honesty. No one likes financial surprises. If you're engaged, dating, or even already married, ask yourself, do I know my partner's financial history? Have we talked about debt, savings, and financial goals? Are we financially transparent with each other? Because without financial trust, no financial plan will work. How to build financial transparency and trust. Have open money conversations. Set regular times to discuss finances as a couple. Make money a normal topic, not a hidden one. Create full financial disclosure. Before marriage, both partners should lay their financial cards on the table. Debts, assets, income, and even money fears. No secrets. Use joint and individual accounts wisely. Joint accounts foster unity, while personal accounts allow financial independence. Find the right balance that works for you. Set boundaries for spending, discuss what amounts should be approved together. Maybe any expense over $500 requires a discussion. Create a financial plan together. Where are you going financially as a couple? If one is saving and the other is spending, frustration will arise. A shared vision eliminates financial tension. The Bible says in Amos 3 verse 3, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" If you want financial peace in your relationship, you must be in agreement. And trust me, when you master financial trust, you won't have to argue about money. Instead of fighting about money, you'll be building wealth together. But there's one more major financial discussion couples need to have. Should you consider a prenuptial agreement? Let's talk about it. Prenups, one of the most controversial topics in relationships. Some say, if you truly love each other, you don't need a prenup. Others say, if you're smart, you'll protect yourself. But let me ask you, should love be blind to wisdom? The truth is, a prenuptial agreement isn't about planning for divorce. It's about clarity, responsibility, and accountability. What is a prenup, and who needs one? A prenuptial agreement, prenup, is simply a legal document that outlines how finances, assets, and debts will be handled in the event of a divorce or separation. Now, here's where the problem begins. Many people hear prenup and immediately think, "Oh, so you don't believe in our love? You're already expecting us to fail." No, that's not it at all. A prenup is not about distrust. It's about financial responsibility. It's like having car insurance. You don't buy car insurance because you plan to crash your car. You buy it because life is unpredictable, and preparation is wisdom. Let me tell you about John and Lisa. John was a successful business owner before he met Lisa. When they got married, Lisa left her job to support him in running the business. Fast forward 10 years, Lisa had sacrificed her career, poured time into John's business, and helped raise their children. But when they divorced, she walked away with nothing. Why? Because she never had legal financial protection. Now, let me ask you, was John wrong for protecting what he built before marriage? No. But was Lisa wrong for assuming marriage automatically meant equal financial protection? Also no. The problem wasn't the lack of love, it was the lack of financial foresight. When should couples consider a prenup? When one partner has significant assets or debt. If one person has a lot more wealth or a lot more debt, a prenup clarifies who is responsible for what. If one partner owns a business, a prenup can ensure that a business remains intact, even if the marriage ends. If one partner plans to sacrifice career for family, if one person stays home to raise kids, a prenup can outline financial support in case of separation. For blended families or prior obligations, if you have children from a previous relationship, a prenup can ensure their financial security. The goal is not to predict failure but to prepare for life's uncertainties. How to have the prenup conversation without conflict. The way you bring up the topic matters. Don't say, "Hey, I need you to sign this because I don't trust you." Instead, frame it as, "I want us to have financial clarity so that no matter what happens, we both feel protected and respected." And remember, a prenup is not always about divorce. It can also define how finances will be handled during the marriage. At the end of the day, money should never be a source of division in a relationship. Because when financial unity exists, love flourishes. But financial planning doesn't stop at prenups. Now, let's talk about how couples can create a long-term financial vision together. I know that this is a topic that makes some people uncomfortable but cannot be ignored: prenups and financial protection. Navigating marriage finances and prenups. This is where things get serious. Prenuptial agreements. For some, just hearing the word prenup makes them uncomfortable. They say, if you truly love someone, you don't need a prenup. Prenups are for people who don't trust their partners. A prenup is planning for divorce before marriage. But let's stop for a moment and think logically. A prenuptial agreement is not about expecting failure, it's about financial wisdom. Why? Because love is emotional, but marriage is also legal. A marriage is not just a relationship, it's a financial contract in the eyes of the law. If a business owner signs agreements to protect their assets, why is it wrong for a couple to have financial clarity before marriage? This is not about doubting love. It's about ensuring that both people are protected, secure, and fully aware of what they are committing to. Who should consider a prenup? A prenup may not be necessary for everyone, but here are a few cases where it makes sense. If one partner has significantly more wealth or assets, this protects pre-marriage wealth from legal disputes in case of separation. If one partner has large debts, a prenup can ensure that the other person is not legally responsible for debts they did not create. If one partner owns a business, it protects business assets and ensures that company interests are not jeopardized. If one or both partners have children from a previous relationship, a prenup can secure inheritance rights for children. If one partner plans to be a stay-at-home parent, it can ensure financial security if the marriage ends, acknowledging the sacrifices made. Prenups are about clarity, not distrust. Some people reject prenuptial agreements because they believe it's unromantic. But let me tell you something, the real romance is in security, clarity, and trust. It's about having mature, honest conversations about money before problems arise. It's about making financial decisions together, rather than leaving one person vulnerable. Now, if a prenup is not something you're comfortable with, that's fine. But whether you sign a legal prenup or not, every couple should have clear financial agreements. Because money can unite a couple or divide them. It all depends on how it is handled. A successful marriage is not built on love alone. It requires vision, planning, and financial wisdom. Because love can bring you together, but poor financial decisions can tear you apart. Many couples step into marriage assuming that money will just work itself out. They believe, as long as we love each other, we'll figure it out. But love does not pay bills. Love does not erase debt. Love does not automatically create financial security. Wisdom does. Planning does. Partnership does. The power of a shared financial vision. Imagine two people rowing a boat. One is paddling forward, and the other is paddling in the opposite direction. What happens? The boat goes nowhere. That's exactly what happens in a marriage when there's no financial alignment. One person is saving, the other is spending. One is investing, the other is accumulating debt. One is planning for the future, the other is living for the moment. Eventually, frustration sets in. Resentment builds. Trust is broken. That's why financial planning as a couple is not just about money, it's about unity. How to build a strong financial partnership in marriage. Create a joint financial vision. Sit down and ask yourselves, where do we want to be financially in 5, 10, or 20 years? What kind of lifestyle do we want to build together? How will we handle major financial decisions? Set clear financial goals. Break them down into short-term goals, paying off debt, saving for a vacation. Mid-term goals, buying a home, starting a business. Long-term goals, retirement, investments, generational wealth. Budget together, not separately. Money should never be a mystery in a marriage. Both partners should be aware of income, expenses, and savings. Decide on an investment strategy. Saving is good, but investing builds wealth. Learn about real estate, stocks, or passive income streams. Don't let money sit, let it grow. Review your finances regularly. Set a monthly or quarterly money date to check progress, adjust goals, and ensure financial transparency. Now, let's talk about something important. Who should lead the finances? Some people say, the man should lead financially. Others say, it should be a 50-50 partnership. But here's the real answer. The person who is more financially disciplined should take the lead. If the husband is reckless with money, should he be the one managing it? No. If the wife is an expert in budgeting and investments, should she be sidelined? No. Financial leadership is not about gender, it's about stewardship. Money in marriage should never be about control, it should be about cooperation. And when a couple masters financial partnership, they don't just survive, they thrive. But there's one final, crucial element to making money work in a relationship. Financial trust. Let's talk about it. Trust is the foundation of any strong marriage. But let me tell you, financial trust is just as important as emotional trust. A person can love you deeply, but if they don't trust you with money, it will create division. And let's be honest, money has exposed the true character of many people. Some couples start off in love, but the moment financial pressure comes in, hidden habits start to show. The spender keeps secrets and hides purchases. The saver starts micromanaging every penny. One person feels controlled, the other feels taken advantage of. What happens? The marriage suffers. One of the biggest financial betrayals in marriage is financial dishonesty. Some call it financial infidelity, when one partner secretly spends, hides debts, or makes big financial decisions without discussing it. Let me give you a real example. Lisa and Daniel were married for 5 years. They both worked hard, saved, and planned to buy a house. But one day, Lisa discovered something shocking. Daniel had a hidden credit card debt of $40,000. 4 years, he had been spending beyond their means, making minimum payments, and hiding the statements. Lisa felt betrayed. Not because of the money itself, but because of the secrecy. And this is what destroys marriages. It's not always the lack of money that breaks trust, but the lack of honesty. How do you build financial trust in a marriage? Full transparency, no hidden bank accounts, no secret spending, no private loans. Everything must be out in the open. Financial honesty. If you make a big purchase, discuss it. If you struggle with spending, admit it. Secrets destroy, but honesty builds trust. Shared accountability. Have financial check-ins together. Even if one partner handles the finances, both should know what's happening. Avoid power struggles. If one partner earns more, they should never use money as a weapon to control the other. Marriage is a partnership, not a dictatorship. Mutual respect for spending habits. One might be a saver, the other a spender. Instead of fighting, find a balance. Create an agreement that allows freedom with boundaries. Financial trust is not built overnight, but when a couple commits to openness, accountability, and teamwork, they create a marriage that is both financially strong and emotionally secure. So the question is, are you and your partner on the same page financially? Let's wrap this up with a final powerful truth about financial harmony in marriage. When it comes to marriage, financial success isn't about who earns more or who makes the final decisions. It's about working together as a team. Remember, a marriage isn't just a union of hearts, it's a partnership in every sense of the word. And like any successful partnership, there needs to be alignment, cooperation, and shared vision. Financial harmony is the result of mutual respect, open communication, and clear goals. Think about it. If a business partnership is going to succeed, both partners must share responsibilities, contribute fairly, and trust each other. It's the same with marriage. You both have a stake in the future you're building together. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is avoiding discussions about money. They think, we'll talk about it later, or I don't want to argue, so I'll just keep quiet. But the longer you wait, the more complicated things get. Financial problems don't just disappear. They grow, fester, and turn into resentment. I've seen marriages where small financial issues turned into huge relational problems because the couple never took the time to sit down and talk openly. So my advice is simple. Have those conversations early. Whether it's about how to budget, how to save for a house, or how to pay down debt, talk about it. Set a time to discuss finances regularly. Don't wait for a crisis to spark the conversation. Be honest and transparent. If you have different financial habits, share them and work together to understand each other's approach. When you build financial unity, you'll experience less stress. Financial strain is a top source of tension in relationships. When you work together, it's easier to face challenges. A stronger bond. Working together towards shared goals strengthens your emotional connection. Increased security. Knowing you're both invested in the future brings peace of mind. Freedom. When money isn't a constant worry, it frees you to focus on enjoying life together. The key takeaway is this: money should never be a wedge between you. It should be a tool that helps you build your dreams and your future together. But it all begins with mindset. Change the way you think about money in your relationship and it will change your relationship. Now, I want to leave you with this. Financial success in marriage doesn't happen by accident, it happens by intention. If you and your partner decide to approach your finances as a team, with clear goals, mutual respect, and shared accountability, there's no challenge too great for you to overcome. It's not always going to be easy. There will be setbacks, disagreements, and moments of doubt. But when you stand united, when you remember that your financial goals are intertwined with your life goals, you'll build a marriage that is unshakable. Remember, your marriage is a partnership. And when you manage your finances together with love, wisdom, and respect, you'll create not just financial stability, but a deeper connection that will carry you through anything life throws your way. You've got this. Now go, make those changes, have those conversations, and build a financial legacy that will last for generations.
Thank you for watching. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more life-changing teachings from Dr. Myles Munroe.